Okay, I wanted to talk today. I've not scripted this whatsoever, but I got into a conversation on chat with a friend that I met online. He's also an author, and his book sold really well. He went through a publisher, and before there was really much of an online ebook market, he sold pretty well, I think, in the paperback. But of course, because he went with a publisher, he didn't make much. It was his first book, and I'm sure he didn't make much at all. Anyway, he signed a contract with them, and he's stuck in that. And I talked with him for almost an hour today, and I wanted to. I'm jazzed up, like I'm all amped up because to see this guy. I mean, this guy can write. He can write very well, and he's unsure about whether or not he should take the jump into Amazon, and really do it himself and write for himself and write fiction like he wants to write. He said it's his dream to write fiction. Man, if that is your dream, you got to get out there and do it right this second. You got to start today because, as I said 100 times already at the blog, MikeFook.com, I can't write. I can't write for shit, man. I'm not a good writer whatsoever. I can pull it together for short articles, yeah. Fiction, 80,000 words, 120,000 words, it has yet to be seen. My first book was atrocious. It wasn't even, the story was awesome, right? Because it's almost based on real life, but I didn't have the skills to write that book. I wasn't, publishers wrote me back. I sent it to publishers at first years ago, and I said, I know, you're probably not going to publish an anti-pedophile book. It was like a vigilante anti-pedophile book, right? I wanted to kill all these pedophiles that I found in Patong Beach in Thailand. But yeah, a couple of them wrote back and said, oh man, the story is great, but we can't publish it because of the topic, pedophile, anything pedophile doesn't get in anywhere in books. Most publishers wouldn't touch it. But anyway, because they said the story was good, that made me, fairly happy. So I published it on Amazon. I published it at my own site for a while. It sucked. I mean, I got I'd sell one a week or something, and then one a day at the most. Then I put it on Amazon, and I sold couple in a week, couple a day, changed the cover about 3 times, changed the title of it, and then now recently changed the price many times, to figure out is there a right price to put it on. And finally, after I even got decent reviews. I'm telling you, I'm not a writer. I can't, the story's good, the grammar and everything else sucks. It's not awesome, it's not great by any means, but it's passable because you know what? You have to look at your audience. Your audience is people that can't write a book themselves, probably. One of the guys that read my book did end up writing a couple books already. But the people that are reading your book are not necessarily Rhodes scholars. I mean, they're not people that are critiquing your grammar. They're not people that know particularly well the spelling, whether it's correct spelling, correct grammar, correct punctuation. Many people don't know, I don't even know. I'm guessing, and probably 98% of the population of people in the United States are only guessing at what is the correct grammar. Very few people know exactly what is right. And you'll find those assholes because they'll leave comments they'll leave reviews on your book and ream you a new one because, you didn't follow the proper grammar. And they're all pissed off about that. Or they're pissed off that you wrote a book and they didn't, they're too scared to write a book. Or you wrote a book that was successful or fairly successful and they never did. So they're going to ream you on your book, so to make sure your sales don't do so well. Anyway, you have to look at it go ahead and write it for you and make it as the best that you possibly can. Edit it as best you can. If you have the money, run it by an editor. I'm sure that's not going to hurt anybody. And see if you like what they do. For me, I haven't done that yet. I keep saying I'm going to do it, but you know, for my next good book, I'll do that. At the moment, I just edit it myself. It's good enough to fool, you know, 90% of the people. Some of my books are getting decent reviews, so that means I didn't totally screw them up. Do what you can. If you can afford an editor, get an editor. If not, screw it. Just put it out there and see what happens. If people ream it, use the comments to fix your book. I've done that a couple of times. You know, I read some comments. I was like, oh yeah, you're a dick, but you're right. You know, I've got to fix that. So I went back and fixed it. It's so easy to fix online ebooks that you publish a book. It doesn't even mean anything. You make it online. You make it go live, right? You can edit that book 50 times in the next month if you want to. And I have edited books 8 times, I'll guess. So it's not written in stone. You write it, and then it's a work in progress, is how I look at it. And hopefully you don't get too many negative comments that, you know, to totally screw your book forever, because those negative comments are like impossible to get rid of by Amazon. Even if you revise your book, I have idiots copy pasted. This jackass, what's his name? Jeff McNeil in Chiang Mai, Thailand. This guy wrote a horrible review on one of my books, right? I don't want to go into it too deep. I have a whole rant on this guy. But wrote a horrible review. And I couldn't figure out why, you know. I looked at it and I was like, oh yeah, a couple things are right, you know, it doesn't really make sense what I wrote. So I fixed it. I ended up rewriting the book, republishing it under a different name. This jackass copied his old comment and put it on the new book. I can't get rid of it at Amazon. They don't care. So anyway, if you have any inclination to write a book, you gotta write it, man. Why don't you start out, I was telling this guy this morning, why don't you start out writing short stories? You could write a short story of 8,000 words, 10,000 words. Make it something, you know, amazing, you know, as good as you could possibly do. And 8,000 words, you know, if you're a writer at all, that shouldn't be much to you, and you can crank that out in a week maybe, at the worst, right? You know, I've written 17,000 words in a day, but not quality, but I had to edit it quite a bit. But you can write 8,000 words in a week and have a book to put up on Amazon in a week, you know? Book covers, they do matter. If you have the money, you better spend it and get a decent book cover. Hopefully you can get one for $100. There's excellent people that do it for like $300, but I think it's too much. $100, $200 max, you know. But give it a try and see what happens. If you're not giving it a try, man, nothing's gonna happen. You know that for sure, right? You gotta just write what you like to write. Start with short stories. You have a couple short stories along the same line, along the same subject, and then you can put them together in a compilation and then sell that book for more money, you know, on Amazon as well, right beside it. So this is how writers are getting started. I know this guy has already written a book, but he's locked into a publishing contract too, so that kind of sucks. But my brother, my sister, my niece, this guy in China, he's already written his book. I think he's probably close to done. But anyway, these people that I know that could write a book like better than me by multiples of 10, you know, I mean, just could write amazing books, I'm sure, because their grammar, their style is lovely. I've read music by them, I've read poems by them, I've read short stories by them, I've read the beginnings of fiction by them. Never saw a book, but the number of people that can write a book, the number of people that can pull it together, write a book and publish it at Amazon is not very much. I think right now they have over 1 million books at the Kindle. That's the ebook portion, ebook side. They have over 1 million books now, I'm sure, maybe 1,000,003 or something like that. But that's not that many authors. Maybe they have, I'm just guessing, maybe they have 50,000 authors, maybe. I'm not sure what it is. But though there has been a large influx of people that decide to write a book and decide to publish on Amazon because now it's so easy, they don't have to go through publishers. Still, the number is not that big. Your competition is not that big. It's still manageable. There's still room to get in and room to go forward and try it. It's not like it's going to get much worse from today as far as competition. So, if you can write a book, if you can pull it together and write 8,000 words, 80,000 words, whatever it is, you got to do it, man, because you got to see if you're successful or not. I had no idea I could write a book that, first of all, I didn't know if I could write a book, because to write my first book was like an autobiography that was like 140,000 words, but that didn't go anywhere. I didn't publish it. But the second book was my fiction book. That was 120,000 words. I had no idea. I had a self-confidence, you know, like I think I can do anything. But, you know, when I actually wrote it and looked at it, I was like horrified because it wasn't good. You know, there were parts that were nice, there were parts that were good. But overall, you know, to look at it as a whole, it sucked, you know. I thought, oh man. So that's why I edited it 20 times. So I had no idea I could do it. I can do it. I've already published 25 books. Maybe this will be my 26th book on Amazon under various names. They're not all under Mike Fook. And some of them are successful. Some of them I had no idea would be successful are successful. I have a meditation book like that, you know, I had no idea. And all of a sudden, yeah, it's selling like crazy. So, you gotta try, man. You gotta do your job, do your 9-to-5 job, make money, make your check because you have to, but then do something for yourself and create something for yourself. Create content. I worked for a guy that, he told me the keys to good business, and this guy was top seller, what was he, top broker at like Dean Witter or something like that. And I met this guy in Hawaii. He gave me a job. We had an online business, and he was making 4 to 5 million gross, you know, and we had 4 employees. So the guy was pretty brilliant. He already retired from his Dean Witter job. They already were sending him like hundreds of thousands of dollars in checks every month because of all his accounts. And then he has this $45 million business a year. Anyway, he told me some of the keys to business, and some that I remember just off the top of my head. Number one, you have to create content that isn't easy to duplicate. So what that means is writing. Writing is not easy to duplicate. Nobody can duplicate what you did. Nobody can copy what you did without easily being found out. Eventually, right? Writing poems, creating videos, creating songs, creating art, sculpture, whatever the hell it is. If you can create something or invent something new that cannot be copied easily, do it, because it gives you an edge over people that cannot. I mean, it's something that gives you security. It's like an asset, right? You create an asset for yourself. And this guy was big on the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He gave me the book actually because he thought I needed it, and I do. So that was one of the keys. What were some of the other keys? Oh, this is funny. And it's a way of looking at my own, you know, relatively little success in a different way. He had a website. This website I worked with him on. We were doing e-greeting cards. I'll tell you that. And the site was old when I got there. I got there in 2002. He had the site online, I think, since 1998, as I recall. It's hard to put it together. He already had 30,000 subscribers to the site at $2.99 a month. So, you know, already he's making $90,000 a month just on subscribers, so they can send premium cards to people, you know. The cards were an absolute joke. I mean, they were, if you think Hallmark cards are stupid, these cards were for absolute imbeciles. I mean, in my mind, that's what I thought. I looked at these cards and I thought, Jesus Christ, if this guy has this kind of success, do you know what he could do with like decent cards and decent, you know, up to the minute, up to date cards? I mean, the design sucked, the words sucked, they were corny as all get out. You couldn't believe how corny, and like someone made it up, like someone made up the words on a card in like 5 seconds. Bang, card, that's a card, you know, make a design, put a stupid flower on it, you know. They had these little animated GIFs at the time that were like doing stupid things. I mean, it was a horror show. It was so bad. I tried to convince this guy for over 6 months before he finally fired me. But I had to try to convince this guy, look, I can update your site. I can write, you know, I can write circles around this girl. Her name was Babette Ryan, I think it is. I could write circles around this girl, you know, and make you some amazing cards. You know what? He said he didn't care. And I couldn't get past that. I was like, well, how can you not care? I mean, we had other things going on too. So besides the 90,000, he was making a whole lot of money with email lists and sending out, you know, ads for things. It was legal spam. We didn't do anything illegal, but I mean, he was one of the spam kings for sure. Anyway, he didn't care to make the site any better, and I couldn't understand that. You know, and finally I understood it. There's a market for imbeciles. There's a whole, you know, you think that, in my mind I always thought that I was part of the majority of people in America. I always thought I was one of we're all the same, you know, we like the same things, you know, people are pretty much just like me. I couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, I am so different from the average person. So anyway, Kevin knew this, and Kevin understood that these corny cards are hitting a subset of the population. They're focused at them, and they love them. They're crazy about them. And they were old people. They were old people over 50 usually. That was the demographic. They were women for the most part, but plenty of men were there too. But that's the demographic that we were targeting, that he was targeting, that he cared about. He didn't want to revise the site and make it like Blue Mountain cards or something like that. They were hitting a whole group of different people, and they weren't so focused on, Kevin was laser focused on this one group, and that's all that mattered for 90,000 a month. So what that means is you can apply that to your writing. I shouldn't care that much that I'm not, if I can write for some group of people, okay, if I can write for some group of readers, some group of buyers at Amazon, at Nook, at, you know, everywhere else that people buy ebooks, if I can write for one group and that group is big enough to support me, that's all that matters. You can't be everything for everyone. Lee Child is one of those people that, I mean, the books are written at a low enough level that probably everybody can read it. And that's cool, you know, he's hitting everybody. Everybody loves it, you know, at least the first few Reacher books. I don't think I can do that. I'm writing for a different group. Maybe I might be writing for a group that doesn't understand grammar as well and everything, but that's okay, you know. And you don't have to be a person that writes at Ayn Rand level. You don't have to be that person. If you're not that person, you shouldn't ever try to be that person. To write at such a high level is something that only people at that high level care about, and you shouldn't care. Focus. That's why people get a bad review on Amazon. Like, I got a bad review on that one book, and it tore the hell out of me because it was one of the first reviews of the book. And I thought, oh man, people are gonna hate this book. You know what? Every review I got after that were all 5s and 4s. So it's because the majority will speak. Okay, there's people that are at the highest level of reading, and they'll bitch and gripe about your book because you didn't spell something right, something didn't make sense, you used too many words twice, you know, or something like that. But the rest of the group, the majority, the base, they don't care. and they'll give you good reviews anyway. And so that's what I saw with that book. The one bad review I got. Oh, my time just ran out. Fuck, I talked for 20 minutes. I can't believe. I gotta refocus. Okay. So, hopefully I gave you something that helps you to get motivated to go ahead and start on your own books, because, you know, really there's nothing quite like, it's Friday, it's November the 2nd at 11:21 in the afternoon. I'm going to work on something else here in a second that has nothing to do with ebooks, but I didn't work today, I didn't write anything, I didn't try to make money today, but I made money because books sold. They sell every day. They sell at Amazon, they sell at Kindle, they sell at Smashwords, so they're selling at Apple, they're selling at Barnes & Noble, they're selling at Sony Bookstore, they're selling at my own websites because I have those set up to sell books directly. So there's nothing quite like it, man. I'm not at retirement age yet. With any luck at all, I'll retire when most people can retire, you know, in the next 10, 15 years. But right now, if I stopped, I don't have to do anything. For the next year, I don't have to do anything if I don't want to. The money is coming in because I already finished the books. And it started out slow. I told you one book, I might sell one book a week to start. And I thought, wow, that's not very encouraging. But I had other stuff going on that I was working hard at. But I always thought, I'm going to write some books and just see what happens. You got to have that attitude and see what happens, because if you can pull it together, man, and write one book, and then it does okay, you know, maybe you sell 2 a day. That's 60 books a month. Maybe you're clearing $2 a book if you price them at $2.99. You just created income for yourself for the next year of $120 a month that you don't have to do anything for. It's coming in. If you're more successful, you sell 5 or 10 books a day, wow, you're doing much better, right? And then eventually it builds up. I mean, mine built up like this. And then I hit Amazon, it went up a little bit, then I started changing book covers and revising things and putting it on Smashwords, and then I started to write more books, and then gradually it goes up, you know, and pretty soon it's an income. I mean, and now it's like retirement income. I don't do anything for it. It's just coming in. Can you imagine how great that is? I try to tell people that. I try to tell my brother and sister, and how amazing that is. I don't want to say how much is coming in, but not that much. But it's enough that I don't have to do anything. If I want to take a month off, I just take a month off. If I want to take a year off, I just take a year off. It's going to come in anyway. Amazon's not going to die tomorrow. Smashwords isn't going to die tomorrow. Apple Books is not going to die tomorrow. And if they die, something else takes over that's probably even better, because if anything can kill those things, it's got to be great. So it's not going away, man. Look at it as a retirement fund. You know, every book that you do is like a little piece of retirement. And if it's 8,000 words, great. If it doesn't need to be 80,000 words. That's the cool thing too. There's this clown, what's his name? Carl East. If you look him up on Amazon, Carl East is selling, his stuff's getting better, I have to admit. But originally he was selling 2,000 word short stories, sex stories, crazy topics, right? I banged my sister or something like that. But the guy was selling books like that at 99 cents and killing it. And he's stealing the covers off somewhere, off a file sharing site, and thinking that he can use it, he told me. But the guy was killing it. Now he has, well, the time before I checked, he had over 100 books. Now I looked, there's only 52 books registered to his name. So whether or not, you know, some people bitched about the covers or not, it made him take them down. Maybe he's revising, I don't know. But still, the guy has to be making probably a multiple of 5 times what I'm making. And he wrote 100 short stories of between 2 and Oh boy, I can't remember how big his longest one was. It couldn't have been more than like 11,000 words. This is back when I checked. Then he puts those into books, you know. He puts like, he just said all his mommy story. He puts all his mommy stories, like I bang mommy, stuff like that. He put them all into one book. So now he has a compilation of all these crazy stories about moms, and he's selling that book. You know, I think it's $11.99 it was or something. I wonder if I can see it real quick. Nah, I already changed the page. Anyway, if that's what it takes to get you started, go ahead and start, man. Just get it done. Write 5,000 word stories if you can. Make it amazing, you know. Make it the best story that you could possibly make. Make it interesting. Make it knock somebody down, you know, when they read it if you can. And if you do that, if you just get one success that's even doing 3-5 books a day, it's gonna help, and you're gonna see the light, man. It's gonna be like Jesus energy in your life or something. Because I felt like that's what happened to me. I saw the light, and I thought, let me think when I first saw the light. I first saw the light when I put it on Amazon. Yeah, my books went up to a couple sales a day, and I was like, damn, that's okay. And then I thought, oh, I'd just write more books and then have tens of books a day. And that's what happened. Anyway, I talked way too fucking long. Anyway, I've talked way too long, and I think I've talked like 27 minutes. That's enough for today. Hope it motivates you to do something. I hope you look at my poor writing skills, my utter lack of attention to detail, and look at yourself and then say, damn, I can do better than that, man. I can kill it, I think. And you probably can. Write something cohesive that is good as a whole. Write something that is an amazing story. That guy, Joe Conrath, he also writes as, doesn't he write as Jake Conrath with a K, Conrath? But his stories are amazing, you know. I didn't like his writing at first, but now I really like it. You know, whether he's gotten better or whether I've gotten used to it, it doesn't matter. But that guy's making like $30,000 a month on sales, just on Amazon, I think it is. So, yeah, it can be done. Get out there and try it anyway. See if you're a writer. You never know if you are one until you actually try.